Okay, I think we are good to go, they say. So thank you so much, all of you, for being here, especially considering the traffic and the rain. So I know it's a bit of an effort and much appreciated. So we have this artist talk today. We're very grateful for the artists to all be here with the generous support of the gallery. And before we go straight into the talk, I'd like to introduce myself and the exhibition, and then introduce each one of them a little bit. And after that, we have some questions for the artist. My name is Loredana, Pazzini-Paracciani, and by the name and my accent, you can tell that I'm Italian. But I've lived in Southeast Asia for more than 20 years, so I think I feel like part of this world, of this side of the world. And in fact, in all my curatorial projects, I've always been focusing and working with Asian and specifically Southeast Asian artists on topics that are close to Southeast Asian society and culture. So often my projects have been dealing with migration and diaspora caused by different wars in Southeast Asia. I've been working on subjects such as gender divide, asylum seeking, spiritual beliefs, and so on. But lately, I have been focusing more and more on environment because it's urgent, and doing all the series of projects that I'm doing on environment, I'm actually learning and I'm getting really scared of what we are facing and the world we are living. Concurrently to this exhibition, for instance, I have curated another show, which is not far from here, Warin Lab, showing a Thai artist in Matai about the living condition of different animals. And then we have this exhibition, which for me, and I suppose for the artists as well, is an opportunity to confront the audience and make our own stand and your stand in relation to the environment, the planet, and our own surrounding. So the exhibition, this is how this exhibition emerges. Basically and simply, we need nature, the environment, we need the environment, and the environment needs us. It's very simple. Yet, despite efforts by some NGOs or some political actions, the damage on nature, on the environment continues, and we adapt to it. So sinking and the paradox of staying afloat really emerges out of this necessity to take a stand. And in that, the title is suggestive. So where the paradox lies, in the act of caring for and at the same time damaging nature. Sinking in that sense is of course, in relation to water and the effects that climate change has on water, specifically in Southeast Asia, but is also the idea of sinking as in suffocating, drowning in self-demise for what we are causing to the environment. And the paradox of continuing to doing what we are doing. But for how long can we do that? For how long will the environment accept what we're doing? So the curatorial concept for this exhibition is, on one hand, the relation to water, the condition of climate change and the impact on Southeast Asia. On the other is to look at traditional values, to look at traditional approaches to preserve nature and our coexistence with the environment and the animals and all the creatures that are part of this planet. Geographically, sinking and the paradox of staying afloat is looking at Southeast Asia, as I said. So Southeast Asia is traversed by many rivers. The biggest fluvial course is the Mekong River, which traverses Thailand and surrounding countries. And of course, there are many tributaries to the Mekong. And as a result of climate change and therefore water levels, the Mekong is, and all the tributaries are at times flooding for too much water, at times there is not enough water for crops or for the livelihood of the people around, and also in the cities. Crops are harvested but not always successfully. Staple food such as rice is sometimes unpredictable if it will grow or not. City life is getting more and more difficult, health condition, as well as needing to find a new economy, which is a sustainable economy by using what we dispose. And to respond to all of these different topics, the artists I think of them as artists, as anthropologists, in a way, as shamans, also some of them, because they really respond to the living environment. And they do that often collaborating with communities. So this will hopefully put us, all of us, the community they worked with, but also all of us visiting the exhibition, to confront our own responsibility. Now, having said all of that, I would like to introduce them. I will mention them by name and not the full name because it's very long and they're all friends, and I think it's easier that way, and in no particular order. So Angkrit, starting with Angkrit, has been wearing the hats of artists, curators, and gallerists. His work delves into the intricate interplay of time, memory, and identity. His solo exhibitions offer a glimpse into his artistic evolution, from his early exploration of cultural identity and passage of time, to other successful exhibition where he consistently invites viewers to contemplate the complexity of human experience. Through his abstract painting, some of which he has created for this exhibition especially, also installation and site-specific intervention, Angkrit's art often draws inspiration from his personal experiences. Jedsada graduated from the Slade School of Fine Arts in London, and since 2005, he has started developing in his practice an interest on site-specific installations, focusing on the architectural structure of specific locations, as well as looking to their social, cultural, and political context. We are very fortunate to have one such installation here, created with the support of the viewer, of a community, and in relation to the viewers. In fact, often for his installation, Jedsada collaborates with people from different areas of expertise. In some of his installations, viewers are an essential part of the work. Samnang, which is next to me, is one of the most celebrated artists in Cambodia today, and I'm very pleased to say that because it's true. There are many great artists, and Samnang is one of them in Cambodia, and beyond national definitions, I think that's the most important aspect of art. As part of his practice, Samnang spends extensive amounts of time engaging directly with the local communities in his effort to research and gain insights on the profound social issues that confronts Cambodia today. And for us, Samnang, for this exhibition specifically, he created a work that indeed involves a lot of engaging with the community and with the local condition of Cambodia today. While exploring new perspectives and interpretation of histories, as well as traditional culture, Samnang uses humorous and symbolic gesture to present multiple layers of meaning through a variety of mediums, including sculpture that incorporates natural material, as well as installation, video art, and performances. Lay Brothers 1 and 2. They were born in Quang Binh, in the north part of Thailand in 1975, and I mention that because where they were born is very critical to their art and practice. As we all know, 1975 is the end of the Vietnam War. So with the reunification of Vietnam on that year, under communist rule, the brothers moved to Hue, the ancient capital of Vietnam, which is located in the southern part of Vietnam. Torn by the consciousness of the dual southern and northern identity, the brothers have developed their artistic practice based on engaging performances and video documentation that comment on the social and political challenges of developing Vietnam. And for us, they are showing a video work, and I think this geopolitical aspect of their practice is very important, and it also is represented in the work feature in this exhibition. Mirroring each other in most of their works, the brothers, in fact, are identical twins, as you can appreciate. They use their physical attributes to mirror the condition of Vietnam as a country scarred by division and reconciliation. Mook, Ploenchan, but known as Mook. So Mook is the way I will refer to her, is a leading Thai textile artist celebrated for her innovative use of discarded, upcycled, and surplus materials. She graduated at Central St. Martin's in London, where she studied woven textile. And since then, she has developed a unique style that merges sustainability with artistic craftsmanship, resulting in works that are both visually striking and environmentally conscious, which is what we are also talking about today in this exhibition. So the works that you will see by Mook are created, in fact, with this exhibition in mind. Mook's remarkable ability to transform everyday discarded materials into striking art pieces underlies her commitment to sustainability, craftsmanship, and artistic innovation, making her a key figure in contemporary textile art. Last but absolutely not least is Torlarp, over here. He was raised in a houseboat in Ayutthaya, which I didn't know, but I got to know that while we were discussing this project, and he was proposing his work for this exhibition. And this is very much part of the work where he was born. He will tell us more about that. He was raised in the houseboat in Ayutthaya and later moved to Chiang Mai to follow his art education at the Faculty of Fine Arts at Chiang Mai University. As an artist whose works involve multiple mediums, Torlarp focuses his interest in creating interactions between art and the audience by using ready-made objects for his sculptures and installation in a form of moving architecture. His works act as connectors, linking the audience's feeling to materials found in everyday life. So, thank you so much, all of the artists, for being here with us. I would now start asking some questions, simple questions. And so we get to know more about them and about the works, of course. The first question is actually, and after that I would love for, of course, all of you to maybe ask, feel free to ask your own questions to the artist. First question from me is really a bit general, because we talk about the environment in this exhibition. So I would like to know from the artist if you all had a specific encounter, specific experience with a somewhat important environmental situation in your country or abroad, and if that event has had an impact on you, and if so, what was the event? What happened to the environment that has left an imprint on you? Maybe I will start with Mook.
Actually, all along here are my work. This one, and that one. And these were created from the flood 2 years ago, about this time. It was September, I think, August, September, 2 years ago. One night without preparing or no warning. There was heavy rain and storm. So we all have to face like flood, big flood in Bangkok. So I went to my weaving studio the next morning and my work was literally soaked underwater for overnight. So I had to take some photos for insurance, obviously. And so all those photos I kept and I turned those incidents into each pieces. Actually, this specific one was the one that was submerged in water for overnight. So if you get closer, you can see the marks, the color that run. It's all from that incident. This piece is the only piece that I did a few years back. But I thought I wanted to bring it here because it's now a new piece that it has its own story because it almost have a new life. You know, it survived through flood, through water, because I actually wove this piece from paper, hand-spun paper, and discarded yarn. And who would have thought that paper would survive through being underwater for overnight? So it's in a way like us. We are human who create this problem, who bring this flood or global warming to ourselves. But we kind of live with it year and year, every year, and adapt to it instead of looking at a way to change or to try and help. So every time I look at this piece, it reminds me of what can we do to help, to make it better in a way.
Thank you. Since you have the lay brothers next to you, 1 and 2, some experience of some particular events.
Hello. For investment, we are learning when we were child with in school. It's really important for Vietnamese because we are in the center of Vietnam, and also we have the flood and storm, and every year it's coming to our village, and this is really important thing for people how to survive and live in. And for our project, we start to think about that, how we grow things with our problem. And then we get the work later, just like that.
Thank you. Thank you. Samnang, next to me.
Yes, the first I would love to sing teamwork, 333 gallery, and make everything happen for great exhibition. And Loredana, we are long friends. Yeah, and also thank to Achan and friend here. And for sure, I say only it's like I'm a kid, and say in my experience of how is in with environment, with changing of weather. Yeah, I know from I'm kid, I love adventure. I love to walk around in city since from 6 years old. Yeah, my mom lost me that don't know where I go, but I so enjoy. I remember city after war, some market not yet open, but I remember this. Yeah, but every year, it's the weather hotter. And even last year in Cambodia, it's super hot. Some school nearly already alarmed to want to close. If the temperature change more 1 degree, they're gonna close the school. because some of they put water in the school on the rooftop. There, the fire car come to support of the school. That and also I remember that we have a winter, a short winter, but last year we don't have it. We don't have it. And very, very, very hot. And also, you're sure when I adventure, I go around our nature and Cambodia tree have been cutting many. Yeah.
Thank you. Then we ask Torlarp, who might want to speak in Thai or in English. In Thai. In Thai, and then for English-speaking audience like some of us, Rose will translate in English.
ครับโอเค ก็ผมอาศัยอยู่ทั้งสองจังหวัดที่มีปัญหาเรื่องสิ่งแวดล้อมนี้เหมือนกันก็คือผมเกิดที่อยุธยาน้ำก็จะท่วมทุกปีจนเกือบจะท่วมหลังคาบ้านทุกปีตั้งแต่สมัยผมเด็กๆแล้วผมก็อาศัยอยู่ที่จังหวัดเชียงใหม่ก็เป็นปัญหาเรื่องมลพิษทางอากาศช่วงนี้ก็หนักมากเหมือนกันครับผมก็เลยสะท้อนผลงานเหล่านั้นออกเป็นงานศิลปะของผมครับส่วนเรื่องปัญหาอากาศผมก็สะท้อนมาเป็นผลงานชุดว่า Air Border ที่เกี่ยวกับสภาพแวดล้อมที่เราควบคุมไม่ได้ส่วนชุดใหม่ที่กำลังโชว์อยู่ตอนนี้ก็คือชื่อว่า Waterline ครับคุณก็จะเห็นเหมือนกับว่าเป็นอิมเมจของเส้นน้ำทั้งหมดที่มีอยู่ในลุ่มน้ำเจ้าพระยารวมถึงที่อยุธยาที่ผมอาศัยอยู่ด้วยครับ
ขอไปก่อนนะคะ Okay, I have to speak in English. So Torlarp, he's born in Ayutthaya and he lives in a boat town, like what Loredana said earlier. So that area is affected by the flood every year, and it's kind of designed to be a drainage basin, to take the excess water from the space around Ayutthaya province. So it really has affected his life. And when he moved to Chiang Mai, also Chiang Mai, it's the air pollution, it's known for many years. So he used those inspirations from the air pollution and the flood from his own experience to create the works. And this piece is closely related to the flood situation, the water management situation, and it's a continuous piece from the previous one, which is focused more on the air. It's the area of photography, and I think it leads to the next question. We will wait for the next question. Okay. Any other things you want to add about how the environment affect you? มีอะไรที่จะแอดเกี่ยวกับว่าปัญหาสิ่งแวดล้อมที่มันแบบส่งผลต่อพี่เหินโดยส่วนตัวไหมคะหรือส่งผลในการทำงานอะไรอย่างเงี้ยเหมือนเขาถามเรื่องเอฟเฟกต์ว่าแบบว่าปัญหาสิ่งแวดล้อมมันส่งเอฟเฟกต์ต่อเรายังไง
ใช่ครับก็คือทุกคนก็รับรู้เรื่องพวกนี้แล้วก็เราเป็นมนุษย์ก็พยายามที่จะคอนโทรลธรรมชาติครับหมายถึงว่าแต่ท้ายที่สุดแล้วเราก็จริงๆบางครั้งเราก็เหมือนกับไปผิดทางแล้วก็ก่อปัญหาซะเองด้วยครับในหลายๆผมก็สะท้อนออกมาเป็นงานศิลปะเดี๋ยวก็จะเล่าในครั้งต่อไปครับ
ก็ he feels like we as a human we try to take control of nature a lot and he make that comparison to art making which is human manipulating materials natural materials and he will talk about it later in the next question.
Thank you, Rose and Torlarp. And Angkrit, please.
สวัสดีครับทุกคนผมพูดไทยแล้วกันนะครับตามต่อลาบก็คือเป็นเหตุบังเอิญที่เรา3คนมาจากเชียงใหม่แล้วก็เชียงรายนะครับผมมาจากเชียงรายแล้วก็2ท่านนี้มาจากเชียงใหม่เราคือผู้ประสบภัย
โอเคเมื่อกี้ที่พูดได้ดีเพราะว่าเตรียมมา so it's a coincidence that three of them Torlarp, Angkrit and Jedsada they're all from Chiang Mai and they are ผู้ประสบภัย
Victims.
the victims of the environmental phenomena.
คือยาวนานมากว่า10 ปีแล้วครับที่เราประสบปัญหาฝุ่นควัน PM 2.5 ที่ภาคเหนือ
It's been 10 years that they have been affected by the air pollution in Chiang Mai, in the north.
ทุกๆปีก็รุนแรงขึ้น
And it's been the problem is increasing every year,
Yes.
year by year.
แล้วก็จะมีเพิ่มเติมมาเรื่อยๆก็คือเรื่องไฟป่า ซึ่งกระทบทั้งเชียงรายเชียงใหม่ คือบ้านของเรามีไฟป่า แล้วล่าสุดตลอดเดือนที่ผ่านมาทุกคนก็จะได้ยินข่าวเรื่องน้ำท่วมจากน้ำป่า แล้วก็ดินโคลนแล้วก็แลนด์สไลด์ซึ่งปีนี้ถือว่าเป็นปีที่หนักที่สุดที่ตั้งแต่ผมเกิด แล้วก็รับรู้ว่าเกิดอุทกภัยที่ใหญ่ที่สุดของเชียงราย แล้ววันนี้และเมื่อวานนี้ที่เชียงใหม่
Okay, so besides the air pollution that we know has been going on for 10 years, for decades, now we have more and more wildfires and also landslides, flooding, and it's been, it's getting worse every year. And just yesterday in Chiang Mai, there was a big news about the flood.
เหตุผลแค่นี้ก็เพียงพอที่เราจะไม่สามารถละเลยสิ่งที่เกิดขึ้นตรงหน้าเราได้
He feel that all these three wildfire, landslide, flooding, the mud and the air pollution is enough reason for us to actually take action, actually be aware of our effect on the environment.
ส่วนผมคิดว่ามันน่าจะเป็นยุคที่เราต้องปรับตัวตามธรรมชาติเพราะเราก็ผ่านโควิดมาได้ so ผมแปลนะครับ so I think now is the time that we have to adapt ourselves to the nature and we already passed the epidemic the COVID that's it
Brief intervention. Actually, I wanted to say, Angkrit, you said it's a coincidence, but the three of you are from Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai. But it's not really a coincidence because when I was researching for this project and I was thinking of what would artists with relation and interest in the environment, then of course I consider all the artists from the north because there are many activities, many actions, many exhibitions that have been taken towards creating awareness, fostering awareness on environmental issues. So it's an effort to have the north, and the Bangkok area, and also outside Thailand, to have these voices coming together for this project. So my next question was in relation to the environment again, and how much do you all incorporate environmental topics in your practice? This will lead us to then, of course, for you, each one of you, to talk more about the work that you've developed here. But perhaps, firstly, just briefly, can you share with us if the environment is something that is really important in your practice?
Okay. Well, for me, it's more like a way of life. How my family want to live, how we want to bring up our kids. So the big word like sustainability didn't come into mind, but I started creating upcycled raw material to use in my work, I would say about 12 years ago, because that's how me and my husband want to bring up our sons. We want them to be aware and to value things more. And you can't go out by avoiding drinking plastic bottles, even though you carry your own bottles, but sometimes you forget you have to drink it, but what you do after that. So for me, I bring it home, I cut it into strip and weave it back and turn it into art. So that's, I guess, how I started about 12 years ago without thinking, sustainability or global warming as yet. But I just thought, I guess we are center by our family. Family come first. So that's our way of living, how we want to bring up our kids, how we want to live. So that's how I got started. Yeah.
So it's quite an organic way. I mean, a sort of that just happens. And for you, Le Brothers, is environment important in your works?
Before 2016, we really focused for another concept like our country, our history, and north and south. But after 2016, one day we went to the forest. Me and my brother, we see one big tree, and we made a question: "How are you?" Then we cannot to have the answer because, as you know, you have history, your country have history. But the tree, very simple, living with you, next to you, keep the air for you, but you don't know. So this is we thinking about to focus to nature, and after that we have a lot of project for environment and work continue until today.
Thank you. Yes, we worked together on a big project about the Vietnam War, and that was 2017. Yeah. So then Jim Thompson, and then your work has moved also from that. Yeah, Samnang.
Yes, the question, how important environment? Yeah, yes, sure. That for me, I believe in nature. It's not just me. If we talking that anthropology or ritual in Cambodia or Southeast Asia, they have very ritual related with the nature. Example, in Cambodia, we have ritual when the kid or people who have been sick. They have ritual. They go to a forest or in behind of there where have tree. They ritual. They ask the soul from their nature and come to the home for make the kid or people wake up for their life back. And for my previous work in this year, I do two projects. Yeah, I talking about the rousing spirit one. I have been shown in Tokyo last 2 months, and this is I have worked in performance for 3 days under the hot sun, different area without shirt. One in Mekong River, one place in the sea, one in the mountain. Yes, so that is for I have one plate, brass, similar here, and hammer. For each day I hammer. And fight like of inspiration me how that important nature, and now what is nature happen of climate change. It is the sound what that I did or what I perform. Look, I would like to call a spirit get up. Yeah, the soul of come up or nature wake up. Yeah. And later I can answer the next project. So, Torlarp.
ผมจะเล่าถึงงานชุดใหม่ที่คิดขึ้นมาเพราะว่าโรลิลาน่าชวนให้มาทำโปรเจกต์นี้นะครับก็คือชุดใหม่ที่คุณกำลังเห็นอยู่นี้ก็ชื่อว่า Waterline นะครับก็คือเป็นการที่ผมทำงานศิลปะชุดนี้ร่วมกับธรรมชาติเลยครับธรรมชาตินี่ในที่นี้นี่หมายถึงว่าฝนและน้ำที่มันท่วมครับคุณจะเห็นอิมเมจของชิ้นงานเพนติ้งครับมันเป็นรูปเส้นแม่น้ำทั้งหมดในลุ่มน้ำเจ้าพระยาครับรวมถึงไปจนถึงที่อยุธยาในบ้านที่ผมเกิดมาด้วยครับ
So Torlarp will talk about the current piece, the current series that he's doing because Loredana asked him to do a collaborative project. So this piece is not only the result of the artist working with material, but also how nature work with the material itself. So in the paintings or the artwork, you will see that water lines, and the water line represent the waterway, the map of the waterways in เจ้าพระยา River Basin. Anything else I miss? มีอะไร
ครับก็คือด้วยที่อยุธยาที่ผมเกิดด้วยแล้วก็เทคนิคมันก็คือว่าผมจะให้ตัวผมเองเป็นแค่ส่วนหนึ่งเหมือนกับให้ธรรมชาติเป็นผู้กระทำตัวชิ้นงานศิลปะด้วยเหมือนกับการสะท้อนว่าเราพยายามที่จะกลวิธีต่างๆมากมายเพื่อจะควบคุมธรรมชาติแต่สุดท้ายแล้วเราก็ไม่สามารถควบคุมมันได้อย่างแท้จริงเหมือนกับเพนติ้งชิ้นนี้ที่ผมพยายามจะควบคุมให้มันออกไปในลักษณะหนึ่งแต่มันก็กลับกลายเป็นอีกแบบหนึ่งเพื่อสะท้อนเรื่องพวกนี้ด้วยครับ
เดี๋ยวพี่เหินทำให้ธรรมชาติมันมาแบบกระทำกับmaterial ยังไงนะคะ
โดยกันก็คือเอาไว้ภายนอกแล้วก็ให้ฝนแล้วก็ใช้น้ำขังไว้3 เดือนอะไรเงี้ยครับ
Okay. So this piece, he wants to stress that we as a human, we want to control the environment, to control the natural materials, and but you know, as this piece show that even though he tries to manipulate materials to make an artwork, but he wants to also show the effect of the environment that we cannot avoid. So he create this water map with metal, and then he sink the metal in water, in rainwater, right, for 3 months, and then it creates the the rusting, the coloring effects by nature itself. So it's a combination of his doing and the nature's doing.
ครับงานของผมนะครับนับว่าเป็นครั้งแรกที่ผมทำงานศิลปะที่เป็นประเด็นเรื่องสิ่งแวดล้อมแบบตรงๆ
It is actually his first time that he Angkrit is doing an artwork that's dealing with the environment.
คือในช่วงหลายปีที่ผ่านมาเนี่ยผมทำงานหลายอย่างนะครับทำงาน Curated ทำงานแกลเลอรี่ทำงานร้านอาหารอะไรหลายๆอย่างนะครับแล้วก็มันเป็นช่วงที่เราสั่งสมข้อมูลแล้วก็ความรู้สึกแล้วก็เนื่องจากงานที่ทำเราจะต้องเจอกับศิลปินหลายคนก็รู้สึกว่าแล้วก็ศิลปินหลายคนก็ทำงานเกี่ยวกับสิ่งแวดล้อมแล้วก็สิ่งเหล่านั้นเนี่ยก็ให้แรงบันดาลใจกับผม
So during the past period, he's doing many works, both curating, making artwork, working in restaurants. So in those environments, he's faced with many people especially artists who's working about the environment, who speak about environment. So that gives him an inspiration to make this series.
ครับแล้วก็ผมก็คิดถึงการทำงานในสตูดิโอและก็เพิ่งจะปีนี้เองที่มีโอกาสได้กลับไปทำเพนติ้งในสตูดิโอแล้วก็เพนติ้งเนี่ยด้วยความสัตย์จริงเนี่ยผมไม่ได้สร้างสัญลักษณ์อะไรมีจุดประสงค์เดียวในการทำงานจิตรกรรมชุดนี้ก็คือต้องการวาดภาพทิวทัศน์ในยุคสมัยของเรา
Okay, so after years of working as curators, he actually missed working as an artist in the studio. So in this series, he come back and work as an artist. So in this series, he doesn't have any intention to create any symbols or representation. He just has what is it called? The prompt in mind that he will create landscape of the now, landscape of the present.
ครับแล้วก็อยากจะให้รับรู้ถึงพลังงานหรือว่าความรู้สึกของผมจากงานจิตรกรรมเท่านั้นเอง
Okay, so he wants the audience to feel the energy and yeah, his feelings that the artist convey through his artwork. ค่ะ
สุดท้ายตอบคำถามไม่ได้ไหมครับ If I cannot answer the question maybe it's okay right no ก็เป็นเวลาหลายปีนะครับที่ผมพยายามจะไม่ใช้หลอดไม่ใช้ถุงพลาสติกแล้วก็เอากระติกน้ำไปเองแต่ว่างานมันก็เป็นพลาสติกมันก็ย้อนแย้งเพราะว่าตอนติดตั้งงานก็บอกกับนักศึกษาว่าสุดท้ายทำเรื่องเกี่ยวกับสิ่งแวดล้อมแต่ก็ยังใช้พลาสติก so it's for many years that I try not to use the straw the plastic bag or the plastic bottle but my work now is the material is plastic so what is the point and also why we set up the installation I have students from university helping me so I point out this like even the exhibition is about environment but I use something that is toxic or something.
I also use spray paint.
What is the question again?
But you have been doing many works in relation to the environment. You've done works about, for instance, the air in the air pollution in Chiang Mai and other works. So I think we now have a clear, sort of clear perspective of each artistic practice. I think it would be wonderful if you can talk about your works here. Maybe not in the, not all of them because they have many pieces. Some of them they have many pieces, but maybe Mok, you can tell more in details how you create this piece, how you weave, what materials you use, what are the choice selections.
Okay, first off, I'm a weaver, so we built our own loom in the studio. My loom is built out of steel, so I have a 4-meter width loom, which I can weave big pieces. And how I start working, I would call myself as a material-based art. So I would start with thinking of the raw material, or I usually make my own raw material, which sometimes from plastic bottles like that one. This one is recycled paper that we use in any office. You shredded it, and what you do after that, I hand spun my paper. So an inch would take about an hour to hand spun. So that piece take a long while. So creating raw material takes the most time for me, and setting up the loom. For that one is actually soda can. That's the back of the soda can, and you can see the front. So as I say, I'm a mom, so my life circle around my sons, my husband, and they do drink a lot of soda, Coca-Cola, soda drink. So I don't know what to do with those cans, so I start keeping them and turn them into art. But now I use so much of those cans that I start collecting from around my neighborhood and the trash collectors. So that's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to tell people that, okay, I'm not a politician, I'm not a celebrity, so the little part I can do to contribute to this problem that we are creating is take care of my own waste, our consumer waste. So what do I do with my family consumer waste? I turn them into art. So from raw materials, I then start making raw material, then I start weaving. And before I start weaving, obviously I have to think of a subject, a story, what I'm trying to tell, what I'm trying to do. Then I turn those raw materials and start weaving, start telling the story. So each piece around here, I can tell you later in more details if anyone like to know about each pieces.
Yes, it's answering. And in particular, this central piece is inspired by that flood, right?
The landslide, yeah. Well, the one thing I noticed, the flood up north is a different colors to the flood in Bangkok. The flood in Bangkok is usually pretty clear. That's like glittering. It's like almost like first sun, that lay on the flood in Bangkok. So sometimes it's beauty in it. Even though it washed with trash, you see the trash in the middles, like the trash always come with the flood. But the flood up north is muddy color like that. So it's a two different kind of flood. So that's why the raw materials tell its own story.
Thank you, Mok. And for the lay brothers, can you tell us more about this video book, which now is silent, but all the videos actually have a very important sound. So, do you agree on which one?
For our project, we as you see, we start to grow rye for 90 days on to the first day to 90 days. And as you know, in Vietnam, the farmer they use the chemical from China to take care of the farm. So with our project, we try to connection with the farmer, and we don't use the chemical for our rice. Because after harvest, we take it for our work and we take it for our food. It means we try to connection with the farmer, how important if you kill the land by chemical. It's really a problem for later, because it's everyday people use the way to easy way to take care of the rice. So that is one of our project inside.
Yeah. And also we should also add that this is a collaboration with the South Korean artist, right? So his name is Gemini Kim, and you will see him in interspersed images of the artist in the video. So you had him in residency with you. Yes. They have an art residency space in Khvay, and he brought with him a special thing, which was.
It's quite long, so the artist cooperation with us in this project is Mr. Gemini Kim. His father from the north of Korea, and right now his family living in south, and his father on way meets the ride from his hometown, but he cannot come back. His son went to Tokyo, and very lucky he find during the Japanese war, the Japanese people bring the seed from his hometown back to Tokyo. Then he gets from the organization, and he grow right in Japan. Then he ran back to Korea and made a farm for his father eat the rice from his hometown. And belong his project, he bring the rice to Khvay. And we made a question why, because we are he's from Korea, and we have the same divide country and same history for the war. And why not? We are living in this. He take the seed from the north, and I take the seed from the south of Vietnam. Then we meet together and we made a farm, and today we have this work. This story.
So it's a very important story. On one hand, how we need staple food and we need to be able to take care of and farming and harvesting the food, and the other is how food and therefore nature are bridges that we can cross to be in touch across different countries. So beyond the national divisions, we should look at nature and the power of nature and the power of food. Yes.
It's my turn.
It's your turn now.
Yes, like second question I already mentioned. This year I made two performances. One in the site-specific in the jungle, in the river, in the sea. But this project I made in a city, a Rosing city. But of course, it very inspired me. I do in the first for make a recycle car rim, and to cook it, like boil it and put in the earth, like in a dry land, in the rice field, super dry last year. And I would love to immerse the land, what is behind of that. And yeah, of course, it's general of thing is super hot, and also if we talking that is the landing is more hot, is hot more with land right or land himself or politics also. Yeah, so I do performance for 10 days and for 2 plates in brass to hang on the from the ceiling, and this is that I inspire from like already gong, right? In the pagoda, do like pung. Normally they do that before make gong. They need to hum with hammer and make it soft for sound of that. And also gong is instrument that musical using to make a musician and for dance or for ritual to connecting with a god or spirit. That I mean that how human and nature connecting each other, and but this is for my performance in city. I would love invite spirit from the forest to see come to city, and also the spirit in city come together conversation what of human doing now, and also what is not just only environment or not just only climate change, but it's also political also what is it now.
So when we finish the talk, we'll put the sound on with all the videos, and this will have a hammering sound quite loud of him hammering this brass sheets, which were very flat at the beginning of the journey, and then they are now really landscapes or second skins, I would say. And I would encourage you also to come closer to see these silver sculptures, which look amazing, beautiful, very precious, very fragile. But as he said, they are the result of casting patches of dry land with liquid car rims. So he's using recycled materials such as car rims, which were been melted, poured into the soil in different places in Cambodia. And then once they are taken out, become solid, taken out, they become this amazing sculpture, which are actually imprints of the ground. And Torlarp?
ครับก็ผมจะเล่าถึงงานชุดนี้นะครับชุดนี้มันชื่อว่า Waterline นะครับก็คือเหมือนกับกายภาพของทั้งภูเขาหรือแผ่นดินน่ะมันทำให้เกิดร่องน้ำก็คือพัฒนาจนกลายมาเป็นแม่น้ำสายน้ำทั้งหมดนะครับงานของผมกำลังจะบอกว่าเหมือนกับว่าธรรมชาติมันเกิดก่อนแล้วเราก็มาจัดการสร้างเส้นแบ่งเขตแดนต่างๆไม่ว่าจะเป็นเส้นแบ่งจังหวัดเส้นแบ่งประเทศหรือว่าเขตไหนที่มันจะต้องเป็นเขตรับน้ำเขตไหนที่จะเป็นเขตเศรษฐกิจก็คือกำลังบอกว่าเรามาจัดการหรือว่าพยายามควบคุมบางครั้งการควบคุมของเราก็ไม่เป็นธรรมอย่างเงี้ยครับ
Okay, so you started with okay, so he's trying to say that the natural landscape happens before we actually deal with the landscape. So the nature, the waters and the land formation happens in the beginning, and then human comes, and then human are the ones who draw the line, who build canals, who decides where the water should flow and which area should be, the area that is a drainage basin and which area is, supposed to be saved. So we make the decisions. มีอะไรอีกนะคะลืมอะไรหรือเปล่า
ก็เหมือนกับสะท้อนทั้งประสบการณ์ตรงของผมที่เกิดที่อยุธยาตั้งแต่สมัยเด็กก็คือว่าต้องทนอยู่กับน้ำท่วม 2-3 เดือนอย่างเงี้ยครับโดยที่ตอนนั้นเราก็เข้าใจว่าเป็นเรื่องปกติผู้คนในชุมชนก็ปรับตัวเข้ากับน้ำท่วมแล้วก็เหมือนกับเรารู้สึกว่านี่เป็นการเกิดของธรรมชาติแต่พอเราเริ่มศึกษาเข้าไปเรารู้แล้วว่ามันเกิดจากการควบคุมแบ่งเขตส่วนที่คุณควรที่จะถูกโดนให้มันเป็นไปตามยถากรรมหรือบางส่วนที่เป็นเขตเศรษฐกิจเขาก็กั้นไว้เหมือนกับว่า
ขอแปลกันนะคะ
โอเคครับได้ครับ
ก็คือ okay so growing up in Ayutthaya on a boathouse he always thought that this is the you know the fact this is the natural thing that happens that there's flooding it's flooding every year so he thought it was the nature's doing but then growing up and actually studied about water and water management he found out that the things that happens all along are humans doing it's someone's decision to make this area that is also his hometown takes the water and get flooded every year
งั้นผมชุดนี้ก็เลยทิ้งงานไว้กับน้ำท่วมให้เท่ากับเวลาที่ผมเคยที่ชุมชน 2-3 เดือนนี่ครับ
So in this piece he leaves the artwork the metal piece in the water for as long as the time that Ayutthaya that his hometown is usually left to be sunk under the water so around 2 to 3 months every year
ก็เหมือนกับว่าผลงานศิลปะผมได้บันทึกแล้วก็สะท้อนภาพต่างๆออกเป็นคุณอาจจะมองว่างามหรือมันไม่งามมันก็เป็นที่มนุษย์มองก็เหมือนที่มนุษย์เรากระทำกับเรากันเองครับ
So his artwork is the reflection of that and maybe beauty comes out of that or some of you might not think it's beautiful but it's also the same as our action on the environment it's up to our interpretation whether we think there's beauty or not
the process about making it
Maybe you can tell us the title of the work.
oh yeah ครับ
What type of materials or mediums you use for each.
ครับโอเคชื่องานของผมนะฮะมีตั้งชื่อซีรีส์นี้ว่า Black Cloud Red Cloud Yellow Lane แล้วก็ Cyan Frame นะครับก็คือการตั้งชื่องานอันนี้ได้รับแรงบันดาลใจมาจากธาตุทั้ง4ในธรรมชาติก็คือดินน้ำลมไฟนะครับเพราะว่าช่วงที่เราสนใจเรื่องเกี่ยวกับความเปลี่ยนแปลงในตัวเราเองเนี่ยเราก็ค้นพบว่ามันในธรรมชาติเนี่ยทั้งในตัวเราและในธรรมชาติเนี่ยมันประกอบไปด้วยดินน้ำลมไฟแล้วก็ในหลายอารยธรรมไม่ว่าจะเป็นกรีกโบราณจีนหรือว่าอินเดียก็พูดเรื่องเดียวกันมา 2,000 กว่าปีแล้ว
Okay. The titles of the work. Can you repeat the title of the work again?
Black Cloud, Red Cloud, Yellow Rain, and Cyan Frame.
Okay. So.
I try to speak English.
Okay.
Sorry, Pilot. Yeah, I'm interested in that old ancient wisdom about how human simplify the nature into the 4 elements. And it's coincidence in Greek, Chinese, and Old Indian, like 2,000 years. Also Buddhism, also saying that we are like part of that, like this complex of nature, great nature, universe, and rooted by this like 4 or 5 elements. So, and I also like research on how human in modern time, our time, like visualize things in nature, and I found that the CMYK color model that invented for the printing process until now to the like digital screen. So these 2 kind of systems to identify like what we see, what we perceive, that try to understand like the big nature. And that it's so I made the paintings focus on the colors and the textures, especially the colors. We live in this society that crazy about the colors, meaning of the colors. So all the color, it's you see this kind of color everywhere on the street. Yellow, blue, violet, whatever. And this something that I cannot explain. So my landscape painting, it's like the top part of the paintings. It's something like what I cannot define, something moving, something powerful. So down there, the middle part and the bottom part is kind of like horizontal line and like kind of landscape. And I'm not that really like focused on put the symbolics, but I let the work process like flowing while I am painting in the studio. I made like with the big canvas and on the floor, and then I cut piece and add on details. So I would like you guys to see, to look closely to different surface, glossy and matte and texture. It intentionally put the area that contrast and somehow I don't know, the work already speak a lot. Okay.
We have embodied four works and the work on the left, which actually uses very different colors, and we choose that together because actually the whole series is more than 20 pieces, and we selected this for the exhibition, and we agreed that the 4 black pieces are very strong. But with that one, which uses very artificial neon, futuristic kind of color, in our conversation, Angkrit sees that as our future. In a way, that is our futuristic environment, which becomes completely artificial. Yeah. And Jedsada. Yes, it's a very laborious work, and we all collaborated. So if you can say a few more words about the work, yes. It's at the window, so you will meet his work when you come in the gallery or you exit the gallery. Is at the glass wall by the entrance.
ก็พยายามจะใช้วัสดุที่มันง่ายแล้วก็ทุกคนทำได้ so I try to use a simple material to make the work.
And to make exactly that, and also to create this sense of downpour. A downpour that is being created by all of us, the artists, and all of us collaborating within the students. So not only is very meditative on one hand, because it takes many hours to stick one drop of water at the time, but also in my perspective, it also becomes an artificial rain, a sort of what we cause the environment we push the environment to do. A sort of artificial phenomena. And that is very much related to process-based practice of Ajahn Jedsada, which is really process-based, involving the community, and by doing that, incorporating the community into his work, into the process. So I think we've taken about an hour, and I think that's probably enough for you all. But if there are any questions, I think one or two will be happy to address those questions. Thank you, Pano. No doubt.
สวัสดีครับ ก็จริง
Thank you.
จริงๆอยากจะถามคนทีละคนนะจะได้ถามตรงนี้เลยจะได้ไม่เสียเวลานะครับก็จะได้ถาม2 ภาษาเนาะคือเวลาเราพูดถึงสิ่งแวดล้อมครับงานศิลปะที่เกี่ยวกับสิ่งแวดล้อมเนี่ยคือบางทีแล้วมันกลายเป็นแค่กิมมิคอ่ะมันเป็นแค่กิมมิคที่มันไม่ได้ช่วยเหลือไม่ได้ช่วยให้สิ่งแวดล้อมอะไรดีขึ้นในอย่างเป็นรูปธรรมก็เลยอยากรู้ว่าในฐานะศิลปินนะผมไม่ได้หมายความว่างานนี้มันทำให้มันเป็นแค่กิมมิคแล้วมันทำไม่ได้แก้ไขสิ่งแวดล้อมเป็นรูปธรรมนะแต่ผมถามพวกคุณว่าในฐานะศิลปินนะเราทำไงให้งานศิลปะของเราไม่ได้เป็นแค่กิมมิคหรูๆในห้องแสดงงานอยู่ในวงการศิลปะแคบๆแล้วไม่ได้ช่วยอะไรให้มันเกิดดีขึ้นไม่ทำให้สิ่งแวดล้อมดีขึ้นอย่างเป็นรูปธรรมได้คุณจะทำยังไง Like when we talk about the environmental issues, like in many times it only happens to be a gimmick in very narrow circle of art. Like it's never solved the environmental problem in real life. I didn't mean that this work is like that, but I ask you guys as an artist, how do you like help solving environmental problem in real life with your art? Okay.
Thank you, Pano. I can answer from my perspective as my practice as curator, and then of course I'd be interested to hear the answers as artist. The effort that I put behind these projects is, of course, to involve great minds, inspiring minds, such as those of the artists. We cannot change the situation, but we can create awareness. And art is a very strong channel to create awareness on different topics, on different issues. So when I do these projects, I learn a great deal from the artists and from my research, and I hope the visitors, the audience, will be confronted with some of these issues when they look at the works, when they understand the works, and take a stand. Take a stand in relation to our own daily life. Can we not use so many water bottles? Can we consider, can we relate to environmental protection in terms of the area, our own garden or places where we go? Can we be more mindful with the food that we eat? Can we be more mindful to the animals and protect them and create a connection with them? I think this is what the works are doing. To me, for sure. I hope they do the same to the audience. But I would like you guys to say something.
I think I mentioned that earlier, that these are my way of life. This is how I want to live, how I want to bring up my children, my world that I want to bring up my kids, to value things and to make use of things to the max, to not throw away the bottles and cans. We take care of our consumer waste as a family. We turn our consumer waste into art. I think it's hard to change people, our generation. But what you can do, you can teach kids. Start from your own family. Teach your own kids. Teach them from young. Let them live and know that these things are not to be thrown away and what you can turn your waste into. And that's how we've been doing, and I just hope for a better world in the future, that once these kids are growing up, they can help in their part, help the community, and makes it a better living for us.
Sing Panup. Yeah, I think I know what is your question and what is art. And for my, anything of philosopher and philosophy to think what it mean, I never research it mean for every single one. They have their own way, the personal way, their own talent, their own idea, their own thing they want to do, they do it. Yeah, but for my art, for me, not just hang on the wall, not just put on the floor, not put on the digital screening, but it's for me, art is education, a special one for my life. For me, I learn from art. And also art, it's not just education, and also it's not just talent. And art is for me is strategy. Art, we can use art to say better that like I can say, like not say better or something, but it is for my it's very sharpness to say, use art to say, and a strategy. Yeah.
I believe that art is part of big things. I mean that they are divided into two things. One is the potential that can solve the problems, ability, potential performance that you can put that on and that change everything. And another one is, I can call it trust. But art is work on that trust. Trust on what? Trust on humanity. Trust on creativity. Trust on hope. I think that nothing divided, but we are part of each other. Human is part of big nature, it's not center of the nature. I don't think art has a duty to solve the problem, environmental problem. I don't think so. Same like poetry. You know, why we need poetry, why we need music, why we need, I think why we need art is not to solve the problems, but it's for give us hope, gives us trust on our human who make this problem and be victims on this consequence. Yeah, this is what I still have trust on why I'm making this.
ผมคิดว่าสิ่งที่ศิลปินทำได้ดีที่สุดก็คือศิลปะฉะนั้นก็เลยทำศิลปะออกมาแล้วก็คิดว่าศิลปะมันเป็นการบันทึกประวัติศาสตร์วัฒนธรรมมันก็ถ้าเกิดเขาค้นหามันก็มีอยู่แค่นี้นะครับ I think what is the artist can do best is the artwork and the artwork record our time like history culture politics whatever
ผมเชื่อว่าอาร์ตเป็นเหมือนกับภาพสะท้อนพานุอาจจะเห็นว่าเหมือนกับว่าทำไมเราพูดเรื่องสิ่งแวดล้อมมากขึ้นเรื่อยๆก็อาร์ตมันสะท้อนว่าตอนนี้เราก็มีปัญหาสิ่งแวดล้อมแล้วมันก็ต้องพูดถึงเรื่อยๆเพื่อจะเหมือนให้คนได้คิดและตระหนักรู้ถึงมันอย่างที่ผมพยายามทำก็คือผมก็พยายามทำเรื่องที่เราประสบกับมันจริงๆผมก็ค่อนข้างที่จะเหมือนกับว่าพยายามหลีกเลี่ยงไม่ไปพูดเรื่องที่ไกลตัวออกไปผมก็เลือกเรื่องที่ประสบกับชีวิตตัวเองจริงเพื่อเหมือนเป็นสะท้อนออกมาด้วยศิลปะของตัวเองที่กำลังผมเชื่อว่าอาร์ตมันสะท้อนออกมาได้ตามยุคสมัยอะครับ
So art is a reflection of the current situation or the social zeitgeist. So Torlarp thinks that it's he's just trying to reflect what he's actually witnessing right now. He's not trying to say anything bigger than what he actually witnessed by himself. So yeah, he thinks it reflects what the current situation is now, and now we are facing with environmental problems. So it reflects in the art automatically.
Thank you also for the question, Pano. Any other questions?
Maybe one more question.
Thank you, Pano, for the question, and maybe one more question, if there is. Enough? Okay.
Or comments, maybe some audience have
comments.
anything to say or respond to the previous question. I mean, it's an interesting question, right? It seems like, we are so powerless as an artist, but, how do we see ourselves in the big picture?
Something, yeah.
มีไหมคะพูดภาษาไทยได้นะ
If not, then it would be wonderful if you want to see up close the works. Thank you so much again for being here. Thank you for your patience and listening to us. Thank you, the artist, for sharing your thoughts. And I think we can now enjoy and have a one-to-one conversation, if you like, with the artist. Thank you. Thank you.